Hey, what's going on, Maschine Masters? My name is MGTheFuture. Thank you guys for joining us on this channel today. Today I'll be using FL Studio 20 for Mac, and I'll also be using Izotope RX7 standard real quick to create an acapella. And I guess the objective of this video is to show you how to set up a remix. This particular program I'm looking at now allows us to use a feature called musical rebalance. And this allows you to load just about anything you want and kind of isolate different elements. You won't be able to hear this particular program because of what kind of drivers it uses, but I'm just going to show you what the function looks like and then how to use it. So I'm gonna go to my downloads. I want to take this Black featuring Future East Atlanta Love Letter track, the full track with vocals and instrumental. I'm gonna click on musical rebalance. And then there's a lot of different ways to customize this depending on what you're trying to get out of the track. But what I'm going to do is turn everything down except for voice. Keep the sensitivity around 5. I'm gonna click render. As you can see, this moves pretty fast. On my system, it takes less than a minute to process most types of tracks that I've fed it so far. So in this particular version, I still hear the piano. That may or may not be problematic depending on how I flip this. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as a WAV file. I went ahead and put the acapella prefix to the beginning. All right, so that's that. That's pretty much all I use that particular function for at this point. It really helps me get creative and create beats and ideas, especially with the ability to hear a person's words over it. Helps you with arrangement too. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and drag both of these in. Both the original. This is the music video version, so I might have to trim some of the beginning off. The most important thing to do is to bring it in FL Studio, same exact file, the acapella and the original. Don't worry about the tempo or anything. What you really want to do is find the first downbeat of the beat though. And that way it can help you change the tempo and realign everything so that your beat and your metronome hits. And I'll show you how to do that. So I want to extend this so we get some more real estate. We can see all the different transients. The one I'm focused on is the full song that has the beat in it. And I'm just going to skim through this to see if I can hear that first kick. So that's a kick, that's a snare. Let's zoom in even further. Let's scroll over. We use this little razor tool, and you can razor anywhere you want really, but try to get as close to that transient as possible. This is as far as FL let me zoom in this particular view, and I'm going to cut both of them around the same exact space. Then I'm going to go ahead and erase the beginning of both. You can restretch this later if you need. Now what I'm going to do is take these and bring them back maybe to the very beginning, right? And my objective really is to adjust this tempo so that my snare hits here or here. I want to see how fast it needs to be. So just a little bit further back. Let's turn that metronome on. Let's start turning this tempo down. Seems like it needs to be a little bit slower. Cool, so it's around 123 beats per minute. Both of these are aligned with each other because we sliced them the same. So now you can go pretty much anywhere you want in the song if you wish. So I want to loop up Future's part. Let's see if we can find that. So I'm gonna turn my snap on the line just to get an even 2-bar loop up here. And I can turn off this original now. Lit. So now I can create a pattern, drag this in, and then put your own drums in. When I start with remixes, I start with the drums first just to make sure the acapella is aligned as best as possible. And the sooner that aligns, the less likely I need the metronome. Let's see what's up here.
It's that line a lot better. Who gon' lie better? Nobody because I say so. And my words hit like a Draco.
Now we gotta figure out a way to coexist with that piano and those hi-hats on his voice a little bit. I'm kind of disappointed to remove those hi-hats, but I guess it's just such a fine frequency between their voice and those particular sounds. And that's cool because you can still mask it with your own. You can even trace those hi-hats and do a whole bunch of different things. I'm gonna load up Serato sample real quick to see if it gives us key information that could be useful. So go to my downloads, I'm going to go to my original. I'm gonna see what key it thinks it is. It thinks it's C minor, that's interesting. So you guys can pull up scalar, or you can play something in C minor if you wish. I'll pull up scalar though. So one of my favorite things to experiment with. You can use some of the songs even, depending on what feeling you want to go for. Like you can go for neo soul. This starts on a major, so you want to look for a preset that's a minor if your target is C minor. So that's minor. It's actually C minor 11. The 1 is a C minor. And then pick a sound. For the Black style, they use a lot of pitch down, halftime type of sounds and textures. In my own experience, Omnisphere is one of my favorite to pitch down. It just sounds cool, especially if you have the right textures beginning with. Melodic and mallets is really dope. Let's drag MIDI in. And now we got a time stretch just to take up 2 bars, or bar in this case. Let's see if this is too fast. That'll work. We're going to move this to its own mixer channel just to process it further. We're going to half time it first and see what that feels like. I'm going to add a pad to that, or some strings real quick. So let's right click on this here. I'm going to clone it, and I'm going to use the same exact chords, maybe change the octave if it's needed. These chords are fairly stacked though, so you got to be careful. The ARP isn't playing all the keys, but this particular sound will play all the keys. So you might have to remove some or change the octave they're in. Let's see what this sounds like. There we go. And then lastly, I'll add bass to round it out. There's quite a few we can do. I might just use some riding bass, just program a wave and then pitch bend it and all that fun stuff. Got my 808. I'm gonna set my envelopes as a square and then adjust the release depending on how long or short you want the 808 to sustain. And then since I'm just following the root notes of this, I should be fine. And then theirs have triplets. That's the only thing that's standing out. I'm gonna master triplets with some triplets of my own. Fingers crossed. So that one, his triplets are faster in the beat. So I'm gonna speed it up to 1/6 right there. Then I want to show you a really cool pre-computed effect that they brought back to this. It's a stereo delay. I'm gonna put this on the hi-hat so they're left and right. So you got this whole beat going, and then you just drop the acapella. You got your own beat now. It's a real tight beat. In fact, if you want to make it a beat with a hook type deal, you just chop this up. So I'm gonna chop this up even online, and I don't need none of that at the end, I don't think. So I need this. So I got something like this after I cut it up. And then we'll chop this through it. Let's turn it down, whole 12 steps. So on that, I'm gonna turn those lows all the way down. And I want to use this twice, that East Atlanta love letter part. So to make sure this is an even move, I'm gonna bring it back a beat there so I can copy it and then fold it up. That's that. That is my take on East Atlanta Love Letter, which is an original song by Black featuring Future. And this is showcasing how easy it is to use Izotope RX7 standard to create acapellas or pieces of samples that you can then turn into a beat of your own. And hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. Any comments, questions, or concerns, definitely leave them in the box below. Thank you guys for joining us on Maschine Masters today. If you're on social media, you can follow me at MGTheFuture on Instagram and Twitter. Be sure to follow at Maschine Masters as well. Peace.